Okay, good evening, all of you. So, today's topic is another important chapter of application of derivative, that is maxima minima of functions. Okay, so actually, people are talking about extremum, optimization, this type of words. Actually, notion of optimization, optimizing functions is one of the most useful applications of calculus, used in almost every sphere of life, including geometry, business, trade, industries, economics, and even at home. So every day you are practicing that thing, maximizing, minimizing. Companies wants to profit, they wants to maximize the profit, and if you do the expenditure, you want to minimize the expenditure. So in calculus also we can apply this type of techniques, that is called optimizing of functions, optimization techniques in functions. Also we have learned this topic in LPP, linear programming problem, but that is a global thing, because in a region you have to find out the maximum minimum, least value, optimizing function and all that. So in this case we are mainly focusing on the local behavior of the function, local behavior of the function, and that is mainly in the domain. We will search for the maximum and minimum of functions. So before we start, before we go into the deep of maxima minima, first we have to understand what is critical points. What are critical points? So critical point of a function of a real variable is any value in the domain where either the function is not differentiable or the derivative is 0. So those points are called critical point. Either the function is not differentiable or its derivative is 0. Those points are called critical points. So let me first explain with a diagram the concept of maximum minima and the critical points. So this is the axis x and y, and suppose you have a graph like this, you have a function like this, it's like a mountain. Okay, so ups and downs, there are a lot of ups and downs in the problem. So look at that, there are so many points. I'm selecting the points, writing this is suppose your P1, this is suppose P2. So I'm considering the peaks P1, P2, P3. These are actually P3, and this is also P4, and this is actually your P5. Okay, and consider the this lower portion Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. Okay, so there are two types of points. Now look at that, at these points P1, the dy dx equal to 0, that is the tangent, slope of the tangent is parallel to x axis. Here also you see the slope of the tangent is parallel to x axis. Here also the slope of the tangent is, that is dy dx equal to 0 at these points. Here dy dx equal to 0. Here you have dy dx equal to 0, dy dx equal to 0, dy dx equal to 0. But at the points Q2, look at the points Q2, you have a sharp peak, corner point. You cannot draw tangent at that point. So the function is not differentiable here. But you see the function is continuous. And these points the function is not differentiable. That means the function is not differentiable at Q2 and at P4. So these 2 points that encircled with a green color are not differentiable because they have a sharp peak at that point or the corner point at that point. So these points are actually the critical points: P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. All these points are critical points because according to the definition, either the function is not differentiable or its derivative is 0. So at this point your dy dx is 0. Either 0 or these are not differentiable. So these points your derivatives are 0. Okay. Now you see, if you are talking about a maxima minima, in the sense of maxima minima, let me go to scroll down, then I will go up once again. I will show you. So let me now define the maxima minima. First, the mathematical definition. Let fx be a real valued function. We already know about what are real valued function. Defined on an interval a comma b. So f is like this, a comma b to r, like this. So f is a real valued function defined on the closed interval ab. Then fx is said to have the maximum value at ab in the closed interval ab interval if there exists a point c in ab, c belongs to ab, such that fc less than equal to fc, fx less than equal to fc for all x belongs to ab. That means the values of fx for all x belongs to ab less than or equal to fc. Then the function is said to have a maximum at c. Okay. In other language, if I say a function fx is said to have a maximum, especially the local maximum, if I use the term, at x equal to a, if fa is greater than every other value assumed by fx in the immediate neighborhood of x equal to a. So if I am talking about a neighborhood, we use the term local maxima. So let me explain first with this, with a diagram. So this is suppose the function fx, this is your y equal to fx, and take a point a, this is your point a that I was talking about, and in the neighborhood you take a small neighborhood of a, that is a minus delta, or in this case I have taken h, so let us take a minus h, no problem. So it's a small neighborhood a minus h, and this is a plus h. You have taken a very small neighborhood, but it is magnified here, and let's drop the perpendicular. So this is your region. You look at that, your value of fa is greater than f of a plus h and f of a minus h. The value at fa is greater than f of a plus h, the values at f of a plus h and the values at f of a minus h. In both the case, your fa is greater than. For small positive h, you have taken very small positive h. So that means that you have taken a small neighborhood of a. You have taken a small neighborhood. Maybe it looks magnified, but you have taken a very small neighborhood of a. So in this neighborhood, if your fa is greater than, for any values in this neighborhood of a x, whatever value you have chosen in this neighborhood, so you have taken a neighborhood a minus h comma a plus h is your neighborhood. That is the neighborhood of a. H is very small, so h is very small means 0.001. So look at that, h is very small, your step length is very small, so you cannot, it is negligible, almost 3 decimal place, or you can take much smaller than that. So in that neighborhood, all other points, suppose there are so many points, infinite number of points, fa is greater than all other values at functional value at that point, then fx is said to have a local maxima or maximum. Always you are finding the maxima that is a local maxima, because we are not checking globally. This is the local property of the function. Okay, so that is why it is mentioned here that fa is greater than every other value assumed by fx. So that is the concept of maxima or the local maxima. Now come to the diagram here. So this is your point P1. So if you take a small neighborhood of P1, in that neighborhood this is your maximum point. P1 is the maximum point because the value at functional value at P1, if you consider this neighborhood of P1, look at that, I put a bracket parenthesis over there. So in this parenthesis, if you take any point, P1 is the greater. P1 is maximum. At P1, the functional value is maximum. That is, the height is maximum. So this is called local maximum. And similar clarification can made over here also for P2 as well as P3 as well. No, P4 you can't. P4 is maximum, but you cannot apply derivative over there. P5, these are all, and this is the statement for all other points. Okay, so applying this theory, this concept of functional value only f of a plus h greater than f of a plus h and greater than f of a minus h. This concept gives you the idea or observation that fx is said to be have a maximum or local maximum at x equal to a. Now how will you define the minima? Similarly, let fx be a real valued function defined on an interval ab, closed interval ab. Again the same function, it's a f of a comma b to r, real valued function defined on the closed interval ab. Then fx is said to have the minimum value at ab if there exists a point c in ab such that fx greater or equal to fc for all x belongs to ab, such that fx greater or equal to fc for all x belongs to ab. Okay, the similar thing, but the only difference is that fx is greater or equal to fc. So fc is the least one, minimum. And from the mathematical neighborhood property, if what is local minima or minima, ab attains the least value then every other value assumed by fx in the immediate neighborhood of b. So let me draw the diagram once again for this function to show the minimum. This is your diagram. So look at that, this is your b point and you take a small neighborhood of b, that is your b minus delta and b plus delta. Delta is very small. You can take delta equal to 0.0001. So it's a very small quantity. So it's a small neighborhood of b. So in that neighborhood, this is your value at b minus delta, this is your value at b plus delta. You look at that, functional value at b is less than both the values, that is the value at b minus delta and the value at b plus delta. So that gives you the idea or the observation where the function has local minimum. So that is the concept. You look at that, if b is less than b plus h. In this case we have taken a small positive h, but in the diagram we have taken delta instead of h. So the same thing, the concept is same. And fb minus h is greater than fb, right? So this is the concept of local minima in this case. So you go to the main diagram where I have shown the critical points. So if you consider the q1, so you take a small neighborhood, then in that neighborhood you can easily observe the value at q1, the functional value at q1 is less than all other values in that small neighborhood. If you consider q2, it will be the same, similar statements can be drawn, and at q3 if you take a small neighborhood, the similar words can be there for your explanation about the minimum, and for q4 also. So this is the thing. So this is the concept of, main concept of maxima minima or the local minima or local maxima. Now go to the diagram once again. I want to explain one more important thing. So I gave you the idea about the local minima and local maxima. Now look at that. If you observe the curve, so this curve is actually this is your left end point and this is your right end point. So in this end point, if you see which point is the greatest or the highest, So you look at that, your P3 is the value at P3 is the greatest. Value at P3 is the greatest. The functional value at P3 is the greatest, and these all are maximum, P1, P2, P3, but P3 is the greatest. So this is called global maximum. That is, if you consider the whole function, whole interval, in that interval the function source is maximum, then that maximum is the global maximum. So this is the greatest value attained by the function, and this is called the global maximum. Otherwise all other values are the local maximum. Similarly, you can explain the local global minimum. So look at that, Q1. Q1 is the least among all the minimum values. Q1 is the least among all the minimum values. So for global maximum, we can say greatest of or largest of all P1, P2, P3, etc. That is called global maximum. You have to take the greatest functional value, that is the highest point. Okay, and for global minimum, you have to check the least of all, that is at Q1, functional value at Q1. Actually these are the functional value at P1, P2, functional value at Q1, Q2, etc. So you have to consider the least. So you look at that, Q1 is the least of all the values. Maybe it is very close, but Q1 is the least. So this is your global minimum. Okay. So that is the concept of local maxima, local minima from the graphical point of view. And you know how to check analytically. So these are all about local minima, local maxima, global minima, global maxima. Now let us go more deeper in the concept. Test for local maxima or minima by changes of sign. How will you observe? By change of sign we can observe the maxima minima. So let us again draw the diagram. So this is your function and this is your A point. Again you take a small neighborhood of A, that is A minus delta and A plus delta. So in that small neighborhood, draw the tangent. At A you can easily observe that dy dx is parallel to the tangent is slope of the tangent is parallel to x-axis. So dy dx equal to 0 at that point. Dy dx at A equal to 0. Now look at that. If you go left hand side of A, so in between A minus delta and A, if you take any point, at that point if you draw tangent, that is actually negative. The slope of the tangent is negative. F dash x is less than 0, right? And if you take any point, in the neighborhood of in the interval A comma A plus delta and draw the tangent, you see the slope of the tangent is positive, that is f dash x greater than 0. F dash x greater than 0, right? So what is your conclusion? You take any point, you take more points, more closer to A from the left hand side, you take more closer to A from the right hand side, you will observe the same scenario. So what is the conclusion in this case? What is the changes of sign? Changes of sign is negative to positive. Negative to positive. I am talking about the slope. So changes of sign is negative to positive because this is an obtuse angle and this is an acute angle. If you take a point in the interval A minus delta to A and if you draw the tangent, that will make an obtuse angle with the positive direction of x-axis. So it gives you the slope less than 0. And if you take a point in the interval a to a minus a plus delta, if you take any point, you will observe that f dash x is greater than 0, it makes an acute angle. So your changes of sign is my negative to positive, and the conclusion is the function has a minimum at x equal to a. Minimum at x equal to a. That is the conclusion. That means if there is a change of sign from negative to positive, the function must have a minimum value at x equal to a. Okay. Now let me talk about another change of sign. What will happen if the curve is like this? So again you can observe, this is the point. You have a point where the function, where the tangent is parallel to x-axis, and the point is suppose B, and the point is B. Again you take a small neighborhood of B, that is a b minus delta, b plus delta, and delta is very small. And if you draw the tangent at in the interval b minus delta to b, you take any point in the left hand interval, that is b minus delta to b, you take any point. So this is the point and this is the slope. Slope of the tangent makes an angle, acute angle. So f dash x is positive. If you take any point for all x in that interval, and on the right hand side, that is b to b plus delta in that interval, if you take any point, this makes an obtuse angle. So f dash x is negative. So what is the conclusion? What is the change of sign? Change of sign is positive to negative, and the conclusion is that the function has a maximum at x equal to b. The function has a maximum at x equal to b, and here you have a minimum at x equal. So that is the change of sign concept. So from the change of sign concept, you can talk about the maximum minimum of that function without taking its second order derivative. And how will you conclude the first order derivative test? That is already explained, because if you are talking about this positive negative slope, that is only first order derivative only, that is dy dx less than 0, and here you have dy dx greater than 0, dy dx less than 0 at that point, and dy dx greater than 0. Okay. So dy dx is equal to 0 is the necessary condition for maxima minima. Right. Let me conclude here in the first order derivative test, because already I explained this diagram. So from here we can conclude that hence dy dx, let me write dy dx equal to 0, dy is the necessary condition for maxima minima and minima. Okay. So this is the necessary condition for maxima minima, not sufficient. I will explain later on why not sufficient. Okay. Okay, let me explain why not sufficient. Because f dash x, because there may be points where it has a maxima minima, but dy dx is not, doesn't exist, or dy dx is not 0. There will be points. So I will discuss it later on. Let us now have one problem example to show local maximum, local minima. Find the points where at which the function has local maxima, local minima. So look at that, your function is given by fx equal to x minus 2 whole to the power 4 and x plus 1 whole cube, right? And what is your f dash x? F dash x is given by 4 into x minus 2 whole cube into x plus 1 whole cube plus 3 into x plus 1 whole square into x minus 2 whole to the power 4. So this is the derivative, and if you simplify you will get, it's a very easy calculation, x plus 1 whole square, and you can check that the result is already I have checked, so that is why I am substituting. So this is the factors, these are the factors. Okay, now f dash x equal, so the points are actually f dash x equal to 0, because you see the necessary condition for maximum minima is dy dx is equal to 0. So you have to put dy dx equal to 0, that will give you the points. What are the points? -1, 2/7 and 2. These are the points. And by wavy curve method you can check easily the sign change, the changes of sign. You can check easily the changes of sign. This is your -1, this is your 2/7 and this is your 2. By wavy curve method you can check that sign changes will be plus, this will be positive, minus, and this is positive. Okay, so you look at that, there is a change of sign here, there is a change of sign here, right? Positive to negative. So what will happen if it is a change of sign is positive to negative, then maximum at that point. So it has a maximum at 2/7. So the function has a local maximum at 2/7. And there is a change of sign here, negative to positive. So at 2 the function has a local minima, right? So you write that statement here, at x equal to 2/7, the function has local maxima, right? Local maxima. And at x equal to 2 the function has local minima, right? Because you mentioned that change of sign positive to negative and negative to positive. So this is the use of change of sign and the first order derivative. Clear? So this is the use of first order derivative test and the change of sign. Okay, next let us show that the second order derivative. What is the use of second order derivative? Second order derivative test. So before that let me draw a diagram, because with the diagram we can explain everything. So this is the diagram, this is the x-axis, y-axis, okay, and this is the graph, this is the graph, suppose function, and let me draw the tangents here. Blue lines are the tangents at those points in the neighborhood, and also take some points here, draw the tangents, So look at that, I have drawn the tangents. So this is your x equal to a, suppose, and this is your x equal to b. So clearly at a it has a maximum and at b it has a minimum, and so it is clear. So this point is actually a minus h, and this point is actually a plus h. You have taken a small neighborhood, just we explain, and this point is actually b minus h, and this point is actually b plus h. Okay, now look at that. As x increases from a minus h to a plus h, the function dy dx continuously decreases. let me write here, as x increases, it's from the graph, as x increases from x minus h to x plus h, okay, the function dy dx, actually dy dx is a derivative of the polynomial, is a derivative function of x. So the function dy dx continuously decreases, right, continuously decreases. Look at that, observe, okay, that is positive for x less than a, you look at that, it is positive for x less than a, this is positive, f dash x is positive, and here f dash x, that is dy dx at that point, is negative. So positive for x less than a and negative for x greater than a, that is dy dx itself is a decreasing function. What we can say, that is dy dx, dy by dx is itself is a decreasing function. And we know from increasing decreasing concept that f dash x, that is the derivative of, sorry, let me write ddx of dy dx, ddx of dy dx is less than 0 in a minus h comma a plus h. Okay, so we know that if fx is decreasing, f dash x less than 0. So if dy dx, that is the f dash x is decreasing, ddx of f dash x, that is d2y dx2 is less than 0. So what is the conclusion? For a maxima, your second order derivative must be less than 0 in that neighborhood. Hence for local maxima dy dx is equal to 0, first order derivative equal to 0, that is the necessary condition, and d2y dx2 less than 0. This is the testing, okay, second order derivative test. Clear? So similar conclusion can be made for the minimum. So in that case it will be d2y dx2 greater than 0 in the interval. Similarly you can explain, so x is decreases from b minus h to b plus h, the function dy dx continuously increases. So dy dx itself is an increasing function, so that is why d2y dx2 greater than 0 for minimum. So similarly dy dx equal to 0 and d2y dx2 should be greater than 0 in that neighborhood or that point. So that is the conclusion or testing of second order derivative, that is the use of second order derivative in maxima minima. So I gave you the full idea of changes of sign, that will conclude also maxima minima. First order derivative, from here there also we can conclude the maxima minima, and also with the use of second order derivative. Testing of second order derivative will give you the maximum minima. Okay. Now what will happen if d2i dx2 equal to 0? The test fails. In that case, we can't say anything about the maximum minimum of that function. In this case, f is still have a maximum minima or a point of inflection, that you have to check further. The higher order derivatives you have to check if d2i dx2 equal to 0. So let's have nth order derivative test for those where if double derivative will be 0. So look at that, first order derivative, second order derivative, nth order derivative equal to 0, but f of n plus 1 nth order derivative not equal to 0. Then fx would have a local maxima or minima at x equal to a if n is odd natural number. If n is odd natural number, and that x equal to a would be a point of local maxima if this f of n plus 1 a less than 0, and would be a point of local minima if f of n plus 1 nth order derivative, that is n plus 1th order derivative at a should be greater than 0. So n is a odd natural number. Okay, so this is the higher order derivative test, nth order derivative test. However, if n is even, then f has neither maxima nor minima at x equal to a. N has neither a maxima nor a minima at x equal to a. So these are the testing of for your maxima minima. Now let us come to the some important notes. A function may, however, have a local extremum. The maximum minima also called these are called extremum or turning points, also the minimum points, maximum points, at an interior point C of its domain without being differentiable at C. So the function may have a maximum minima without any differentiable at C. For example, the function fx is equal to mod x. This is the diagram for mod x. Look at that. And clearly the function is not differentiable at 0. But still it has a local minimum at 0. But f dash 0 does not exist. That is why first order derivative equal to 0 is a necessary condition but not sufficient. Because without satisfying the condition, the function may have a local maxima or minima. Clear? That is why I have mentioned here, this is the necessary condition. Look at that. I have mentioned here, this is the necessary condition but not sufficient. That means without satisfying this condition, the function may have maxima minima. And the example, greatest example, the most important example is mod x. Function is not differentiable at 0, but still it has a minimum at 0. Next, the condition f dash c equal to 0 when f dash c exists is only a necessary condition, as already mentioned, for an interior point C to be a point of local extremum. Extremum means maximum or minimum. Another example, for the function fx is equal to x cube, 0 is an interior point of local maxima nor a point of local minima of the function fx, neither a minima nor a maxima. Okay, so these are the important conclusions about your important notes about your necessary condition and sufficient condition. Now let us give another interesting problem. Let us find out. So you have to find out the maximum minima of this function. Okay, so look at that. Graphically we can observe the function. So for x less than equal to 0, the function is y equal to x square. Look at that. The first part is y equal to x square for x less than equal to 0. So it's a parabola. One branch of the parabola, one semi part of the parabola. So this is the thing. And for x greater than 0, this is 2 sine x. So that will be like this. So this part is y equal to x square. And for x greater than 0, this side you have 2 sine x. Look at that, the function is not differentiable at 0. The function is not differentiable at 0 because from the graph you can see it has a sharp peak, corner point, and you can check the differentiability using this left hand derivative rule, limit x tends to 0 plus fx minus f0 by x minus 0 is not equal to, that is the left hand derivative, not equal to the right hand derivative. So left hand derivative will be limit x tends to 0 minus fx minus f0 by x minus 0. So that this will not valid. So it you can observe from the graph also and from mathematical point of view also. So the function is not differentiable at x equal to 0, but there is a change of sign. You can observe the derivative changes sign. If you take the derivative, this is your negative, and if you take the derivative here, it will be a positive. So there is a change of sign. So change of sign from positive to negative, that means the conclusion is that the function has a minimum, right? Negative to positive. So from the change of sign you can say the function has a maximum minimum at 0, but the function is not differentiable at 0. So these are the problems. There are so many problems. You go through the problems and solve so many problems so that you have a good idea about the how to find out the maximum minima. So in this lecture actually I told you about the how to find out the maximum minima by changes of sign, by first order derivative, using of the second order derivative, and also if second order derivative fails you have to go for nth order derivative, higher order derivatives. And also there are some restrictions on the function. The necessary condition, the first order derivative equal to 0 is the necessary condition but not sufficient, and with an example I gave you the idea. So I hope this lecture will be helpful to you. So I'll stop here today. Thank you all of you.